Good evening, everyone. So, the question today is discuss specific impacts that communities have on the quality of education. We covered several chapters this week of reading materials. So, there was a lot of information to learn. I think, though, I'm going to take it as a different perspective than what other people have so far. And state that per the reading, especially in Chapter 8, in the Harnesses Community Resources to Enhance Student Learning and Development section, it talks about how communities play a huge role in shaping the quality of education. Even though the students and the families and everyone else around may not always notice it happening. This can be seen on how social workers are leaning on the community resources to be able to help the students learn and grow and adapt within the school system. That can include like mentoring programs, after school activities, tutoring, additional support services that can make school feel more positive, more motivating, resources where adolescents and teens are able to go and discuss religion, discuss their emotions, and just come together as a whole. I know in our little town we have several different little programs. We have tutoring. We have a tutoring class during school that kiddos can go to. We also have a tutoring class after school. We have a stand program where youth will get together and meet and come together and talk about dependency, if any of them has any dependency, hard emotions, and talk about God. We have some meetings before school if kids want to get together and pray, stuff like that. This also allows us to look at how the communities step in when students are facing additional challenges outside of schools, in their homes, in the community. For example, tomorrow we're having a big food giveaway through the Mission of Hope for the county at the local high school. So social workers get together and they use community engagements to help families deal with situations of this nature, like lack of food. Sometimes they help them find resources to be able to pay for their bills, to be able to get transportation to and from. Sometimes school social workers help the children as well as the families deal with stress, different situations that may be evolving at home or in the community or at school, and help them find, a safe space, someone to talk to, someone that they can learn to trust, which will affect how the students ends up focusing and enabling to succeed at their academics. Because, if we have all these side factors going on, it makes it really hard for kids to be motivated to, one, do their work, for two, even show up to school. Communities have the power to push schools more toward fairness. I think that's also huge, because sometimes when we don't rely on the community, whether they come together to school boards or however they may come together to push toward that fairness, our schools kind of put certain groups to the back burner sometimes, unfortunately. So whenever we get together as a whole and we communicate about the things that should be occurring at school, it definitely helps improve what goes on at school on the daily, especially with bullying, as well as favoritism and things of that nature. So, according to the text, social workers partners with teachers, families, and the community at large to challenge and change those racist and those unfair policies that some students may feel is there, and that's holding those students back from moving forward. I know in our school system, we've recently had some people move in that doesn't speak fluent English, so there was no tutoring. No, not tutoring, sorry. There was no translator available to be able to help these kids learn. So we was just expecting these Spanish speaking children that knew very little English to be able to go into the school system and be able to succeed when they didn't have a clue what the material was, what that was even being covered, which led to a lot of frustration for these kiddos. So, and the parents unfortunately also aren't fluent in English and know very little. So, some these kids went through a very difficult time to begin with, and some other kids that was more fluent in English that was also the same ethnicity went to their parents, and then their parents went to the school board and advocated, and our social workers was able to find someone to be able to help these kiddos. So I think that's huge because school should be an inclusive place for everyone to learn. It should accommodate everyone regardless of where it is. I think families are extremely important part of the community that helps shape our education system. So, our book highlights on how strong family involvement, like communication with teachers, helping the students with schoolwork, things of that nature can make a big difference in the student's success and overall how their everyday today work goes within the school. Anytime we start a brand new school year for my kiddos, we go to these parent teacher conferences and meetings and introductions. And that's one of the huge things that they preach, that, our social workers, our school counselors, and our teachers, they all have their own role at school, but the parents need to also put in their role at home for these kiddos to actually succeed. Finally, I'm going to finish with stating that communities has a huge role when an emergency happens, a natural disaster happens. It seems like we've had so many things happen in Tennessee, especially over the year. And then in our little area, we had a lot of tornadoes, we've had a lot of flooding. We seem to have a lot of house fires that are always total losses because all of our fire departments is only volunteer firefighters. We've had several youth in this last school year alone that has had leukemia. I think there's at least 5 in our small little town that's had leukemia. So, and the community in all of these different events has came together, whether it be a natural disaster, whether it be the health crises, to help our students continue learning and to continue providing the support to not only the families that are having these problems, but to our students as a whole. And it's helped tremendously. We all come together, we all support each other, we support these kiddos, we support these families through bake sales, sales of shirts. For the kiddos with leukemia, we'll all dress a certain color one day. We'll send cards, we'll take up donations. it's not one thing, it's something that is occurring the entire year when something happens in the community or with one of the students. The text also describes how schools and schools and social workers, I can't speak today, sorry, and local organizations also come together. We've got a place called Operation Sharing that is huge in our community that helps coordinate disaster responses so that students can stay connected and supported even when life continues to get more and more complicated. I think altogether, the book shows that education isn't just what happens in the classroom. It is shaped by everyone that helps support the education system, the resources that is able to be given and provided to the educational system, and the teamwork of our entire community together, coming together as one to find solutions to any problems that may be given. All right, guys. Once again, hope you liked my rant. Thanks. Bye.